So we got a little change of plans going on. I know I mentioned we were going to carbon wrap this. I started experimenting with carbon wrapping on some little pieces. And it's harder than I expected, which I expected, but it was harder than that. So I didn't want to do this right away. And then I also had the realization that I might rip this thing off in fucking like 2 hours of driving. So yeah, I'm going to put it on his ABS first, see what happens, make sure it doesn't overheat. I don't think it will. I do think this will work because you keep the air dam and everything. It should work perfectly, but just in case, we're going to throw it on, make sure everything's cool, see how long it lasts before I spend hours carbon wrapping it, and we'll throw the side skirts on too. So we'll just get a baseline, cruising on the highway for 10 minutes, coming to a stop, running right around 178. It got as high as like 182, so that should be what we're shooting for. So looking at it under the car, I'm gonna have to wash this. Obviously there's some scratches and stuff from low driveways and stuff like that. I think the air dam itself can stay, but I think it's bent. I really dragged it on something, I guess, recently. Don't remember it being that bent before. But these things will have to come off. And then I think the lip actually bolts up through up in here. So I may have to take the wheel off, which isn't a big deal. But these little things definitely have to go. So I'm gonna start by taking those off, and then we'll mock the lip up and see how it does. So I tightened up just a couple bolts just to see kind of how it fits. And so far I'm sort of impressed. It's definitely not gonna live very long. That's the bad thing. Let me show you why. So I had these stupid skateboard wheel things on here. I know there's some conflicting opinions about these, but in my experience, I've hit stuff and it seemed like you could feel it pick the front of the car up, but I rocked the shit out of something. I'm assuming the same time I bent this air dam, and as you can see, it just ripped the bearings out of this thing. So if I hit this, this is gonna get smashed. Really as simple as that. So we'll see how long it lasts. I mean, I don't drive this car a ton, but when I do drive it, it ends up in weird spots, weird tight driveways and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna find out. I have the hardware kit for this. I'll have to see what's in it. Something is gonna have to go here, which there's holes in the bumper here, which I think is for like your lower radiator shroud that I've never had. And I think when you install the Veram, you're supposed to get rid of that anyway. So yeah, I gotta find something for that. I could just nut and bolt it or zip tie it or something. And I need to get some double-sided tape on here, so I'll have to take it back off and wash the bottom of the bumper. I did forget to do that. But yeah, I mean, it uses the stock holes, which I think is really cool. I'm a big fan of not adding holes to anything if you don't have to, and I'm a big fan of repurposing existing designs. So yeah, it's pretty cool for me. For the $200 or whatever this costs with the side skirt, 240 bucks, I'm pretty happy with it. I didn't bring the side skirts up. They may wait until another day. But I do want to hide all this ugliness from where this car was lowered before I had it, and the guy scraped every possible speed bump. But I'm not sure how I'm going to mount them, because obviously the lift goes right where the side skirt goes. Maybe if it slides in here without getting that far in, maybe I can fit it in there. I don't know, but we'll have to figure it out. But this is the same thing as the skateboard wheels. I've seen people bitch about these. You can see how shredded these are. They are absolutely worth the money. They're 100 bucks. I would say this is the first thing you should buy if you buy a C5 or C6 Corvette, without a doubt. Like, you can see how much material I've taken off of these. They're very well worth it, as opposed to your rocker panel that is the only not removable piece on this car. It's a no-brainer to me. So under the car, 2 of these holes don't line up, which is unfortunate, but oh shit. Not the end of the world. So it's easy to widen this hole and just nut and bolt it. I just got little M6 bolts. They go right in. You do actually have to add some screws, which is unfortunate, into the bumper. I'm not too pressed about it. This bumper, as you can see, is not perfect, so it is what it is. The double-sided tape alone is just not enough to hold the weight up. Even with all this bolted on, the front of the lip is just too heavy, and I'd imagine if this thing does make any actual downforce, which I doubt, but if it does, it would probably just rip the tape off and you'd be going down the road. Obviously you don't want that, so I'm gonna drill this bumper, I guess. So it's on. You can see why I think this should cool fine. There's a very noticeable track straight into the air dam, so it should be cool. This thing is pretty rigid. I mean, it's just ABS, so it's got some flex to it, but it's not as squishy as I thought, which just means if I hit something, instead of bending, it'll just shatter, which is cool. But you know, the fitment's not great. It's not awful. Like if you see here, there's like a little dip. That very well could have been from how I stored it. But that'll help with ground clearance towards the center. I'm gonna reinstall those, and then I think we should be good for the front lip install. But yeah, if I were to install this again, or for you guys that are gonna install it, do this section first, where the air dam, the little side pieces bolt on. Do that first, have someone hold the front up, do the other side, put your 3M on to try to get it to stick up a little bit while someone's holding it, and then run the self-tappers in. That way, you know your alignment is correct, because ultimately that's what I use to align the whole thing. That way, it's in the right spot on the front bumper. I would have tried to pull it a little more forward, but obviously there's curvature there, so if I would have started self-tapping here, that would have sucked. And you know, if this does make the car overheat or whatever, which like I said, I don't think it will, and I take it off, the holes are all at the bottom of the bumper. So realistically, with as low as this thing is, no one will ever see it. So yeah, let me get these air dam pieces on. There we go. It's on, it's installed. Lower air dam's installed. This is still installed. Everything's cool. I gotta do a couple other things, and then we'll take it out. We'll get some video outside. We'll get a coolant test, and then yeah, that should be it. So yeah, that's definitely gonna take some getting used to. But it looks so good. Damn. I give it about 2 days before I forget it's there and smoke a parking block with it, or the curb or something, but we'll see if it can even get up my driveway. I guess that's really the more important test. This thing scrapes a lot going up the driveway, so we'll see if this works out. After seeing it installed, I can say for sure carbon fiber would look better, but I can also say for sure that it would be destroyed several times a month. So we'll see what happens. So just finished up a little non-stop highway stint. We haven't crossed 185 till I came to a stop, so now the actual coolant fan should be running. So I'm gonna do a little more driving and see where it's at, but so far everything seems normal. So we did another 6 miles. Still hasn't cracked 190. Everything seems cool coolant temp wise. I don't think this is gonna have any issues with overheating. It managed to get up my driveway. Getting out may be a different story, but so far it made it. I'm happy. I think it looks good. Yeah, I have no complaints. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time when we install the side skirts.